Okay, well, hello, everybody. It's Jan McDonough from Power Up Enterprises, and I want to welcome you to recruiting tonight. Talking a little bit about recruiting, some of the tools we have, hopefully giving you some ideas on how you could take your business forward and build that team and really have an opportunity to make more of your dreams come true. I just sometimes think about back when I first started in Tupperware and I had no intentions of ever holding a party. And we had to have 6 parties to get our starter kit. And I didn't know anybody yet. Well, the person that recruited me actually made up my 6-party lineup. My deceased mother-in-law was one of my 6 parties. So sometimes I think about, did she do me a favor or did she help me? Because she got me in the door, and it was several months later that she invited me to go to a sales meeting. Hi, Blanca. She invited me to go to a sales meeting, and she said, well, if you want to keep getting your discount, you need to go to this meeting with me. So I'm like, okay, how bad could it be, right? So I went to the meeting, and I actually watched them give out manager cash bonuses, like 100, 200, 300, and so on. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's like real money. And of course, they're driving free cars. And back then, I even saw a couple people with cell phones, and hardly anybody had those yet. So I called the office the next day and said, can you really make money doing this? And she met with me. We spent an hour and a half together. She talked to me about how you build a team, take advantage of the free training, apply what you learn, and grow your business, see what works for you. And I have to tell you, that was probably one of the most difficult things. I had a 2-year-old. I was an hour and 15 minutes from the distributorship. You know, I had to get childcare. I had to make that drive back and forth twice a week. But you know what? The thing that really stuck with me was take advantage of the free training. Apply what you learn. See what works for you. So as crazy as some of those things sounded, I did them. So one Thursday morning, we actually had to role play on each other. And we did recruit interviews. Now, I don't care for role playing, but it's probably the single most effective tool ever. After I role played that day, I did my parties that weekend, and I had 4 recruits before I knew it, because I had just learned the recruit interview. I had to actually role play the recruit interview. So it built my confidence to be able to share it with others. So that's what I did, and it worked. So what a concept, right? So take advantage of the training, apply what you learned, and see what works for you. So while I'm talking about recruiting tonight, I'm going to go through some of the different tools and some of the different ways to recruit. There's no right way or wrong way, but we sure have a lot of tools that others have found successful that I think will help you along the way as well. So some of the things that we have, just many ways and many tools. So one of the things I like to do, probably my favorite thing to do, is I like to do 3-way calls. And I like to do the recruit interview. Like I'd have you on the phone with me, and I'd say, hi, Cindy, this is Jan McDonough from Tupperware. I'm a friend of Blanca's. You met at a party last week. And the reason that we're calling is I've just been offered a promotion, and I've decided to accept it. And part of my training to step up in Tupperware is I get to pick who I might want on my team. And so part of my training is to learn how to tell other people about the Tupperware opportunity. Do you have a few minutes I could just tell you about it? So, or I've offered, whoever you're on the phone with, I've offered them a promotion with Tupperware, and they've decided to accept it. And part of their training would be to learn how to share the Tupperware experience with others. So I actually have a script. I call it Sharing is Caring. And I will post this in the files here on the the FSRC 2.0 page. I'll post it in files, but it's just hi, and then there's a blank. So you want to fill in your name before you start. This is, who it is. I'm so excited. I've been offered the opportunity to move up in Tupperware, and I just decided to accept it. My promotion means that I'll be working with a team of consultants. That is really good news. Now, more to it, I get to pick who I want on my team, and I picked you. Are you surprised? And so I picked you because you shared so many great ideas at the party, or I really enjoyed having you at the party, or you seem to really love the Tupperware, wherever, whatever works. So then it says, I don't want to assume anything until I get some information to you, and then you can decide. I always smile big because, they can hear a smile through the telephone, right? You can tell if you talk with a straight face or if you talk with a smile, it raises your voice tones. So that too makes a difference. So let me see, okay, do you have some time, and you could set a time here or there, or do you have a couple minutes right now that I could just tell you about it? So if the prospect seems a little bit hesitant, you can just say, I would expect you to be a little hesitant right now, and I'm not calling to get a yes or a no at the moment. The reason that I called is to see if I can get some information to you. So that's another way that you can approach it. And then once they have the information, you can set a specific time and go through it in more detail. Now, I would also always say that please consider my phone call a compliment, because I'm looking for someone just like you. And if you know of anyone that could benefit from what I have to offer, I would love an opportunity to talk to them. And of course, you would get a gift should they decide to join my team. So, you could just say the average consultant in the area makes, and you probably make 125 to 150 per party. So it's some great income with a flexible schedule. So when I do the three-way call, I say, now I really don't know you. So for the training purposes, would you mind if I just ask you a few questions? So what I'll do then is use what we call form. Form is, the F stands for family. The O is occupation. The R is recreation, and the M is for message. So let me give you the message. Let me give you the details about this. So what I might say is, tell me a little about your family, and they'll respond. And, do you have a significant other? Do you have any children? Or what are their ages? Are they boys or girls? Just some general conversation. And as I'm finding out a little about the family, I always make sure one of the things I ask is, if you decided that you wanted to give Tupperware a try, do you think your family would be supportive for you? Because that way you're kind of getting that mom excuse, husband excuse, whatever, you're kind of getting that out of the way. So if you can just find out, a little bit about their family. Then you go into the O stands for occupation. Now, I don't say what's your occupation. What I typically say, which fits my personality, is something more along the line of, do you work outside of the home, or are you a domestic goddess? Or if it's a man, do you work outside of the home, or are you a domestic engineer? And it gets a little chuckle, and a little humor always helps in breaking the ice, right? So I'm finding out if they work outside of the home, how many hours do they work outside of the home? What kind of job do they do? Or if they are a domestic goddess, then I find out, have you ever worked outside of the home? Oh, okay. And what type of job did you do? Now, sometimes they'll give you a title, and I'll say, now, what does that really mean? Or what were your duties? I find out a little bit, like maybe they just worked at McDonald's as a cashier. And I'd be, oh, that is so wonderful. That means you've had so much experience with the public already. That will help you so much with your Tupperware business. Okay. Or maybe they worked at a bank. Oh, you're used to handling a lot of money. That will help you so much with your Tupperware business. Or maybe they just worked in a department store. Oh, that experience will make such a difference for you with your Tupperware business. Somebody even tried to stumped me. And she said, oh, I'm a dog trainer. I'm like, oh my goodness. People love their pets. They love their pets like children. Oh my gosh, if you've got the patience to be a dog trainer, this Tupperware business will be a breeze for you. So whatever it is, just kind of work it in. So then we go on. So that's family, occupation, now recreation. So what I'll say is, what kind of things do you do for fun? Do you belong to any groups or organizations or clubs? Or it might be, what do you and your family do? So that way you can find out some of their outside interests, because later they're probably going to say they don't know anybody or they don't have any friends or whatever. So as you're talking to them about what kind of things they might be involved in, you want to also, get a little bit more information. Like if they're active with their church, they know other people through that group. If they're in bowling, they've got that whole bowling league and people they can talk to. If they're too busy and their kids are in sports, maybe the daughter has dance. Well, they're always trying to raise money for their dance recitals, or maybe their son's in soccer or hockey, which costs a fortune. So it's giving you some ideas of where they know people, where they might need some money specifically for the dance or the soccer or hockey or whatever. You're also finding out just kind of what their network is, and where they might be able to meet people, or a fundraiser opportunity. It could always fall into a fundraiser opportunity too. So you're finding out a little about them. So then we get down to the M. And I say, well, now that I've learned a little about you, I want to give you some information about the money you can make and how Tupperware actually works. So I start by giving answers to the most frequently asked questions. People want to know, how much money can they make? How much time does it take? What's it cost to get started? And what kind of support can I expect? So I'm pretty sure you guys know those answers, but how much money can I make? You make 25 to 35% and even more based on the national average. How much time does it take? Well, our successful consultants, I always say that. So our successful consultants hold 2 parties a week. 2 parties a week is going to take about 8 to 10 hours of your time. That would be doing your parties and also a couple hours for some training that you might want to take advantage of. So we're going to work it that way. Doing it 8 to 10 hours a week, they're bringing home about $1,000, anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 a month. So does that sound like some money that would help you and your family? So when you're asking questions, you want to do it in a tone that's positive, that they're going to respond by nodding and in agreement with you, especially if you're sitting with them. You want to just smile and nod, because they will get right on board with that. So that's how much money they can make. How much time does it take? So what's it cost to get started? Well, we have an amazing starter kit. Now, this is how I do it. That doesn't mean it's the right way. It just works for me. So I'll let you make your own choice. What I say is, well, we have an amazing opportunity kit that is $350 in products and supplies, and it's only $99 plus tax. But what I can do for you today is I can start you with as little as $39 down. We'll start with a launch party. We'll get you a couple parties to get your business moving. And once we help you get $1,000 in your first 60 days, you don't even have to pay that other $60 of the kit, because Tupperware will invest in you, and they will pay that $60 off for you just for getting your business started with a couple of parties. How does that sound? Okay, so basically we all know that when they have $1,000 in retail in their first 60 days, Tupperware will pay off that balance. So I kind of like to work it where they can start for the $39 down when they have an activation party, thank you party, launch party, whatever you call yours. But it's some kind of a starter party, because that starter party at least gives them the experience of a party. Even if they don't really want to do anything, it gets them the experience of what a party might be like. They get at least 2 datings. That's up to us to help them get those datings. So they have at least 2 or 3 datings to get started with. And then they will go ahead and those 2 or 3 datings should be enough to take care of that $1,000 qualification level. And that's our job. If we can get them started where they can at least taste what a party is like, what kind of income they can get, the fun that it is, then maybe they'll just keep going. But then you can always say, you know, if you try it for a couple parties and you decide it's not your thing, that's okay. You can just go back to being my customer, my happy host, or you can just keep buying at a discount. That's just totally up to you. So you're putting the spin on how Tupperware can work for them, how you're going to support them, how you're going to help them get started. So the opportunity kit itself is $350 in retail products and supplies, and it's only $99 plus tax. But I can offer you a special today for only $39 down when we schedule your activation party to launch your new business. Does that sound good? Okay. So that's what you're working with. You're getting in agreement. That the other avenue, I don't want to get too far off here, but the other avenue is, if you've ever heard of double launch in a friend, that's where the best way that I can start your business for you or help you open your own business is by doing what I call a double launch in a friend. And that's when we schedule your launch party. So let me see, this is Wednesday. So how about Saturday morning? Can we do Saturday morning, say about 10? Okay. And then what I want you to do is schedule a second time. So it could be Saturday night. It could be Sunday afternoon. It could be, you know, wherever they want to put it. But the thing is, with the first launch, I'm there, I do the demonstration, that party comes through me as the recruiter, and I process those orders. The new consultant gets all of the dating and all of the host credit. Okay. I process the order because I deserve to get paid for doing that party. And that's how I look at it. Again, there's no set rule from Tupperware, but I look at it as, if I encourage a consultant to recruit and a consultant goes and does that launch party and they give everything to the new consultant and they go home, they got to pay the babysitter, and the husband says, how much money did you make? Well, they didn't make anything. I just feel like that's not fair. So the recruiter has invested in the supplies and their time to go do that party. So the recruiter, that first launch is the recruiters, and then the parties from that go to the new consultant. Now the double launch is, so I'll do it Saturday morning, and then you can do your first Saturday night, Sunday, whatever. And the thing is that's in their own home. That's with the people that couldn't come to the initial launch that I did on Saturday morning. That's giving another time where those people can come and still place their orders, and that party belongs to the new consultant. Okay, and then a friend. So double launch is, I do one, they do one in their own home with their own friends, and then they have a best friend that does one. So that's like, you know, a party where they go and do the demonstration at the friend's house and all of that. So if they try it for those couple of parties and it's not what they thought it would be, then you can always offer to take them back as your customer. They basically get 25% off for 12 months. If they activate their account with the active status, or even in their first 4 months, they can actually take advantage of the sampling program. And yes, that does count toward their retail. So real simply, let me back up to how much money can you make? You make 25 to 35% of everything that you sell. You have the opportunity to step up and make additional bonuses, drive free cars, get trips, and so on. How much time does it take? Our successful consultants work about 8 to 10 hours a week. That's 2 parties a week and an opportunity for training. And that usually brings in about $1,000, $1,500 for the month. How much does it cost to get started? $99, and you get $350 in products and supplies. And but today you can start for $39 when we schedule an activation party for you or a launch party for you. And then the last one is, what kind of support can I expect? Well, you guys are the cream of the crop because you have FSRC, which is the best. We work really hard in supporting each other's teams as well as our own. Our goal is to provide you the very best in training of all different avenues, and we all have different personality styles, so we all deliver things a little bit different. So Angie had said just Saturday, this past Saturday, she did recruit training. Well, that's what I'm doing tonight too, and they're probably totally different. So you get to take advantage of the support from the FSRC and all the additional training we provide for you. But you can also just talk about that we have weekly meetings, we have weekly training. There's a lot of training available online. You can go with me on a party, and that can be your on-the-job training. So there's plenty of support. You'll have me, the recruiter, you'll have my director and the business leader, and we're all here to help you be as successful as possible. So there's plenty of support available, and that's something that will give them more security. Some people will say, well, nobody's helped me at all. Well, there is a lot available for you, but basically you need to help yourself by taking advantage of the tools that are available, taking advantage of going online and listening to the training, taking advantage of going to those sales meetings or rallies or team meetings or whatever else is going on, because those are the pieces that are really going to help you to grow. I was recently on a party with someone and worked an event, and I realized, oh my gosh, we have not been focusing enough on demonstration training, product demo, product knowledge, and it was a real eye-opener for me. Again, taking advantage of the training, and sometimes we've been doing it for so long that we don't realize what we've done and what we haven't done. So that's just another avenue of training, but there's plenty of support. So that's kind of, okay, well, I talked about the three-way calls. So that's my recruiting three-way call, and I'll post the sharing is caring script in case you want to do that. You've been offered a promotion you decided to accept. Another way that we do recruiting is face-to-face, like a recruit interview. I would likely still use form because I'm very comfortable and confident with that because I've used it for years, but you have to find what's going to work best for you. If you're meeting them face to face, you might even do something like you can print these off on cardstock and cut them into 4. They're like postcard size, and cut them into 4. And you could just lay them out on the table and ask them to pick the 3 or the 5 that are most interesting to them. And then you can kind of get an idea of what their hot button might be. Whether it's the tax benefits, whether it's the car, whether it's no layoffs. They don't have to worry about getting laid off. They can drive a free car. There's free training. They can earn trips. Diamonds. We all love diamonds. Well, most of us do anyway. Personal growth, be your own boss, the freedom and the flexibility, and the discount that comes along with it. So you could actually just print these on cardstock and lay them out and tell them to pick out 3 to 5 that they're most excited about. And that gives you an opportunity to see where their interests lie, and those are the things you can capitalize on. When we look at this business, we've got a lot of perks. I mean, we have a lot of perks. So there's free training, there's up to 35% commission, there's a monthly cash bonus, there's a sampling program, confident start program, product discounts, customer website availability for us, a free car program, airline discounts, cell phone discounts, Hewlett-Packard computer discounts, Vistaprint discounts. The Gentra Healthcare is available. There's a college savings plan. There is flexible schedule. You can earn exclusive weekly and monthly awards. You've got team support. You're not in it alone. You may be in business for yourself, but you're never by yourself in Tupperware. There's always someone available to help you. You just have to ask. Also, leadership opportunities and earn free trips to Hawaii and Disney. So I will make sure I post this up there for you as well. But this is a great one if you're doing like a vendor event. This is a great sheet to put in a display stand on your table. It's kind of an eye catcher, like look at all the things that we offer to people that decide to give Tupperware a try. So lots of bonus or lots of incentives there for you. Another thing that we could do is an opportunity chat. And some of our companies do that, where it's something that we do on Facebook. Typically, we set it up. You give a private invitation. It's not one of those things you post on your Facebook page and say, who wants to show up? It's one of those things where you personally invite them. So the chat is set up. I like to do it around 8:30 at night. I find like that's a good time. You know, kids are just getting into bed and mom's free to kind of be able to listen and comprehend what we're sharing. So, and I basically do mine with Facebook posts, and I've got mine down to maybe about a half an hour now. So you just have to check with your upline director or check with your business leader and see what kind of opportunity chats are available, or opportunity guest events, Stomp the Bowl, any of those crazy things that are places which bringing a guest. That is another big one, bringing guests to everything that goes on, whether it's a rally, whether it's a team meeting, whatever it is, cooking class, we're doing candy classes now. So whatever that is, you want to make sure that you have guests, you're bringing guests. Just get in the habit of always inviting people to go with you on whatever the next event is. If I were talking to you with a recruit interview right now, I would make sure that I invited you on Monday to the next event that we have going on. So bringing guests everywhere you go is so, so very important. And of course, if you're doing parties, you've got plenty of people to invite to come with you. Of course, your best prospect is your host. And particularly at the end of the party, when you're talking to your host about their datings, and well, you've gotten 3 datings from your party tonight. You're probably going to go to those parties since you're getting credit for them. Am I right? And usually they'll say yes. Of course, am I right? The word choices make a difference as well. And so then I'll say, well, what I can do is give you an opportunity. Instead of going to those parties and spending money, I can help you go to those parties and make money. Does that interest you at all? And then, of course, you can go on into what our opportunity is about. But I would say in my active 5-party-a-week era, I probably recruited, I would say 85-90% of my hosts. I just converted the party on the spot. Because when you're that busy and you're doing that many parties in a week, you really don't have a lot of separate time to talk about the opportunity, or I just didn't. But you can certainly do that and just convert the party right there on the spot. You know, you got an opportunity to make money instead of spending money. Doesn't that just make sense? I think so. So you can offer them that opportunity as well. So the opportunity chats, bringing guests to events, when you're holding parties, you have plenty of people to invite. Maybe find 2 or 3 people at each party that you really like and give them a personal invitation to come with you. Or, oh, I didn't bring my envelope down. I have envelopes that I learned from Cheryl Smith that I've used neon labels, and it says, warning, the contents of this envelope may change your life. And then in that envelope is where I put like the recruiting pack, which would include it would include your kit flyer and the agreement. It would also include the 60-day trial. It would also include the sheet that talks about the income you can make. And I would just put those in the envelope, and I would say, I'd like you to take this home. And are you available maybe tomorrow or the next day that we could set a time that I could follow up and answer any questions that you have once you go through this information? So you're setting a time with them before they leave the party, and you're handing them that envelope. Okay, and that envelope is really just talking to them about what's available in Tupperware right now. You'll follow up with a day or two, making that phone call to them, talking to them about what is in there and the money they can make. And would they like to just give it a try? I mean, I look at it this way. The worst that can happen is they say no. Okay, and for them, the worst that can happen is they make some more money. They make some new friends, and they have more Tupperware than they started with. And if they decide they don't want to do it anymore, that's okay. We're just inviting them to try Tupperware. And so often people will say, well, I'm not interested. And really, I wouldn't expect you to be interested because I haven't given you any information yet. Can I just tell you about it? I make it a rule of thumb that as I did parties, and maybe because I got brought up in that era in Tupperware, I make a rule that I talk to 5 people a week about my Tupperware opportunity. That's what we used to have to do and turn in the sales report on Mondays. And if it got to Saturday and I hadn't talked to 5 people yet, I'd find a couple people. I'd go through my orders from the week and I'd find a couple people I could call. Hey, this is Jan McDonough from Tupperware. I met you at Susie's party on Tuesday. Hey, I've been challenged to talk to 5 people a week about our Tupperware opportunity. And if you have just a few minutes to listen, I'd love an opportunity to tell you about it, and it'll really be appreciated because it would help me with my challenge. And they almost always let me talk to them. If not, if they were busy or just walking out the door or sitting down to dinner, I'd say, oh, when would be a good time for me to get back with you? And I would follow up with them that way. You got nothing to lose. I mean, that's just the key to all of this. You really have nothing to lose and you have everything to gain. So even just walking through the opportunity flyer at your parties, if you put this like in your guest folders and walking through and explaining how all this works, and then it also talks about the income that you can make. Or you know what, a really great recruiting tool is anytime, anywhere, you always have a catalog with you. Guess what? The opportunity kit's in the catalog. Yay! So it shows everything that comes in the opportunity kit. And this particular one talks about the business itself and a little bit about Michelle's story because she's so incredible. We have so many incredible people that we can share, but it's right here in the back of your catalog. So you always have basically an opportunity flyer with you because you're showing the catalog. Flip to the back page or flip to page 81. And let me just tell you a little about what we have to offer. So that's another place that you can go to share the opportunity. So you've got the recruiting flyer, you've got the catalog, maybe you're going to use these opportunity cards that talk about some of the benefits, maybe you're going to use the perks sheet. And I'm sure that Cheryl has some things on training too. There's one, have you ever heard of a dream of a job? And this is when a lady walks into a department store and asks the manager for a job. And says, you know, she'd like to make 25% of everything that she sells. She'd like to get a gift or a bonus every time she brings somebody into the store. She'd like to work when she wants and take off when she wants, choose her own vacations. You know, and as she's going, these are all things that we have available to us. But it's almost like, you know, she's asking this of an employer, and that just doesn't happen in that world. That only happens in our world, our direct sales world, where we have total control of our schedule. Yes, there's some things that we need to be committed to, even though we're not employees. We need to be there on Monday nights. Like it's always said that if you had a bad week, you need Rally. If you had a great week, Rally needs you. But making that commitment to be part of the team and part of the company and the success that comes all together, that is a commitment. And that's something that we just do. So maybe you want to look at it as, okay, we have a few things that we have to check into that are not as flexible as we'd like them to be. But it depends on if you want to grow. I mean, when you show up, you go up. When the more you learn, the more you earn. I mean, those might be cutesy little sayings, but they're true. That's just how the business works. So the little dream of a job is another thing. And I will post all these in the files so you can go research and use whatever you want to do. How about Tammy Tupper Mary Mall? I know most of you know that one, where Tammy Tupper gets to choose what days of the week and what hours of the day she works, where Mary Mall gets assigned when she has to work and she gets told what she has to do during her shifts. And because this is the time of year that a lot of people will go get that extra job to make some extra money for the holidays, we just need to show them the money they can make with us. Okay, Tammy Tupper, Mary Mall. So I'm sure you've heard of that. 6 ways to make money. So we have all the different ways that you can do our Tupperware business. And some of it has to do with our friends and family plan. Some of you might be too young to know, but that was a big saying a while back. I think it was MCI. It was a phone company. They always had the family and friends plan. So family and friends, where they're just passing catalog to family and friends and taking advantage of the discount. Or they could become a catalog or Facebook party specialist. Or they could be a fundraiser specialist or an internet specialist or a party animal, or get into the royalty program. And that's when they choose to step up to manager and really take advantage of the whole picture of what Tupperware has to offer. So that, again, is just another tool, another thing that you can have with you or that you can get yourself familiar with so that you've got those things in your head. So as people maybe give you some type of an objection, you are able to overcome that objection. When you're overcoming an objection, I use a simple term called feel, felt, found. Like, I understand how you feel. I felt that way, or we've had others that have felt that way. And we found that when, da, 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 da. So you want to make sure they know that you've heard them. You want to empathize and let them know that they're not the only one that's ever felt that way. And then you want to make sure that you're giving them the opportunity to, you're providing a solution. We found that when we took advantage of the training, we got to learn what we needed to do to make our parties better. Or when we took advantage of the training, we were able to apply it and see our business grow. So that might work for you. Let me see, what else do I have here? Oh my gosh, do we have the best program ever for new consultants? This Confident Start program rocks beyond all of the things that we've had over all the years. This Confident Start program really allows a new consultant to have a focus. What are they working toward? What's the next step? And lots of times they're not included in our weekly tchotchkes, but look at the great gifts that they can get here, starting with a Fridge Smart or a modular mate or a money pouch. Of course, the second level, Tupperware invest in them. And those are the terms I use because that's basically what it is. They have $1,000 in sales in retail. And Tupperware invests in them because they pay off that $60 or they don't charge them that $60. And they made that investment to help them move their business forward. And then they get up to level 3 and they get to pick that 7-piece Vet and Serve collection or the host gift special that's in the catalog. I mean, it just continues. All of these things are some really great gift items that they can add to their kit or add to their kitchen or use as they need. Oh my gosh, we have so many things available. I talked about the perks. Another one would be like the 4-step interview. You spend a little bit of time getting to know them, talking through some questions, just having them tell you a little about themselves. Then as you're finding out more about them, and you're making notes. I always make notes. I may not ever look at it again, but if I write it down, I'm more likely to remember it. So I'm always taking notes. And when they talk about their family or their children or anything like that, I make notes so that later when I'm talking to them about how Tupperware can fit in and around their life, I can reference Susie's dance class on Monday, or Ben's soccer on Tuesday, or the bowling league on Thursday, so you can kind of interact. And by making some notes, they can tell that you're listening and you're building that rapport, you're building that relationship. because that's what our business is. It's building relationships, whether it's the host or a new consultant or both. We're building relationships. So we want to make a connection, find ways that we can connect on how Tupperware can make a difference for them and their family, and then extend the invitation for them to join the team. So what I mean by that is a close, and we need to close. So some of the closes might be, well, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being no way, no how, and 10 being sign me up today, what's your interest level in what I've just shared with you? Now, I always say if they're in that 1, 2, 3 range, it sounds like Tupperware may not be right for you right now, and I appreciate you taking the time to let me just tell you about it. If you know of anyone that might be interested, I have a referral gift if you know somebody to send my way. If they're in that 4 to 7 range, I say, well, it sounds like you probably still have some questions about what we are offering you. So what I would recommend is let's go ahead and schedule a party, and you can just watch what I do and see how it goes. And maybe you'll get a better feeling and see if that's something that you want to try. So let's just go ahead and schedule a party. If you decide not to do it, you'll just have to take the free gifts. Is that okay? They're going to say yes. They're going to take advantage of those free gifts. All right. And then if they're in the 8, 9, 10, that's an assumed yes to me. That is a yes. And I'll say, well, how soon would you like to open your business? Or how soon would you like to start making money? And that works great too. So when you're doing the scale of 1 to 10, look at where they're at and where does that fit in what you're offering them. And if they're at least an 8, I think they want to give it a try, and you're there to help them. Sounds like you want to go ahead and give it a try. Let's go ahead. Would you like to open your account now? Why not? Right? Why not? Why not start today? Why not get a host packet in their hands? Let them to start telling people, let them to start collecting some orders. Let's get them moving. So that a close would be a yes, no, or a time that you're reconnecting. That's a close. A yes, a no, or a time that you're reconnecting. And that would be considered a close on a recruit interview. On a party, a close would be a date or the date that you're going to follow up. It's kind of the same thing. Yes, no, or a follow-up appointment. Now, if it's not ready for a party right now, maybe after the first of the year, but you're going to put them in your date book for December so that you can follow up with them in December and schedule their party for that first week of January, which is National Party Week, which is going to spoil them rotten. Yay! We have so many great things. Tupperware provides us with so many things. All we have to do is use them. So let me see if I forgot anything here. I know I went through a lot. Oh, the other thing you want to do is learn your I story. Why you joined Tupperware, why you stayed, and what's your next goal. Okay, why did you join Tupperware? Why did you stay, and what's your next goal? So I joined Tupperware so that I could purchase my Tupperware at a discount. I had just moved to Florida, bugs, humidity, bugs. So I wanted to purchase my Tupperware at a discount. I stayed because I found out you could make real money in Tupperware. And then all the different trips and cars and oh my gosh. And then my next goal, I'm in a new community. I'm building a new company. I've been about a year here now. So the year's out of the way. So now it's time to go at it full force, and we're going to start growing like a weed, and you're going to see us. So that's my story. I joined for the discount. I stayed because of the money and the trips and the gifts and the car. And my next goal is rebuilding a new company to become the fastest growing company in the United States. So that's what you want to do, is have an I story ready, or the elevator chat, or whatever you want to call yours. But it really just needs to be 2 or 3 minutes. You want to make sure you're sharing that at all of your parties as well. And there's a couple other games you can play at your parties, but I feel like I've overloaded you already with information for today. So I'm going to go ahead and post some things there in files. You can look at it when you want. If you have any questions, of course, you can reach out to me and just ask. I'm more than happy to help you in any way that I can. I hope that you've been given something that's going to help you in growing your business just a little bit more, that's going to help support you in recruiting. And when you have a new recruit in the next 24 hours, you need to message me with your address because I have a gift for you. So sign up register a new consultant in the next 24 hours, and then message me with your address so I can send you a little gift. Sound good? All right. Thanks for your time. Bye-bye, everybody.